The Telegraph's brilliant Christopher Hope. Chris, do you think that Boris Johnson jumped before he was pushed?
We don't know the answer to that question, Mark, because Boris Johnson is in Nigeria, in Africa, as far as I understand it. He was certainly there yesterday. So what he's thinking, no one knows. The warning on this statement that came out tonight, as Tom was reading out there, was given with zero notice to the government's whip's office. There was no warning. It just appeared. They were digesting what to do about Nadine Dorries, who's got a difficult by-election that's now going to be created mid-Bedfordshire after she resigned. What did happen, and we know what happened, is he got a report yesterday, the findings of the Partygate report by the Privileges Committee. He had 2 weeks to read that. That was going to be published on the 22nd of June. On the 29th of June, there'll be a vote of MPs, a free vote of Tory MPs, about whether to accept the punishment he's getting or to try and do something about it and fight it. He would have had to win a lot of support there not to lose that and then face this by-election in Uxbridge and South Ruislip, and he took the honourable course now to go early, it seems. I think the surprise in Tory ranks is extraordinary. I've been told tonight that senior figures around number 10 are putting on wet towels and calming down, not panicking, because they've got a big moment here when the people who led the party to that big victory in 2019, some of the figures who led the successful EU referendum in 2016, these people are now leaving the stage. It's almost a passing of the kind of populist nature of Tory politics to the more measured ones, as was witnessed by Rishi Sunak. I think that's what we're seeing tonight. It's the end point of a period of Tory politics.
Now, they're going to need hot towels. Rishi Sunak will need smelling salts, won't he, Christopher? Of course, Boris Johnson is a threat to the Prime Minister and his chances at the next election, but so is Team Boris, and they're angry now.
They are angry, and we're seeing responses coming in from people like Peter Cruddas, Lord Cruddas of Shoreditch, who, of course, led that campaign amongst the grassroots to stop the MPs forcing out Boris Johnson in July, August last year. He failed to do that. Boris Johnson, in a statement there, says he's leaving politics for now. Now, that he likes to keep his audience waiting and excited about what he might do next. Certainly that's what happened when he didn't take on Rishi Sunak last October for the Tory leadership. He said, I'm not going to do it for now. So he wants to keep the audience excited. What he does next is anyone's guess. Now, a guy called Dominic Cummings, of course, we know about him, don't we? He's been writing on his Substack about the need for another right-wing party of some sort that may take shape in the next few years. Would Boris Johnson want to lead that, a party in his own image? It's been talked of before. I think talk of that will just carry on because he's basically saying goodbye for now to the Tory party. What he does next is completely fascinating.
So can we genuinely conceive the possibility that Boris Johnson could form a new breakaway right-wing party in this country?
It's an idea, and I think all bets are off on what happens next with Boris Johnson. It's been mooted before by his supporters in July last year to me. They were saying it's happened before. A couple of big donors could get behind a new kind of right-of-centre populist party which would deliver the Brexit, which maybe they thought they were campaigning for back in 2016. It's an idea, Mark. It's not happening yet. I'm just saying to you that it is the things that the tectonic plates are shifting tonight in Westminster, and things will be different next week. As things stand, of course, Rishi Sunak is now more strengthened by what's going on. He had been safe until October. There could be no new letters going in of no confidence in him because of the rule of not allowing a challenge a year after a new leader is elected. The issue of Boris Johnson, had he been cleared by privilege by then, would have been a problem for Sunak. It's not anymore. What is clear to me is he will now definitely fight the next general election. That wasn't entirely clear until now.
Yes, now I know your phone is going to be ringing hot tonight, so I'll keep it brief, Christopher, but let me just ask you, is it a presumption to say that Boris Johnson will be accepted as the prospective parliamentary candidate for his old seat of Henley, which is a safe Tory seat? Can we assume Boris goes back to Henley and re-enters the Commons in a year's time?
I don't see how that happens, because it's not the good burghers of Henley who decide that, but central office. And this is a thumbing your nose, really, at the party. And the way the party had no warning of that, I don't see how Johnson can fight the next election as a Tory MP.
And what are the implications for his career, do you think? Is it, at this stage, the end of Boris Johnson as a frontline political figure, Christopher?
I don't think it is. It's the beginning of a new era of a different Boris Johnson, one who's freer to talk, freer to say what he thinks, who may feel the kind of stabilisers are off again, and he can start trying to say what he thinks and see what happens next. I think he likes to, in a degree, he likes a chaotic tension about what happens next and keeping everyone guessing. That starts again now. I think he's now can shake off the shackles of this privileges committee and what it might have done to him. He's not very cleverable. He doesn't know many Tory MPs, and that's part of the problem of why he was quite a loner. And I think he chose quite badly with some of the advisors he's had advising him in recent years. He's got a chance here to reset what Johnson is. Some of them have been saying he might try and go for a seat in the north of England. I just don't think the current leadership would want to bring him back into the party because of what he's done tonight. This is not expected. There was no notice for the Whip's office. They had no warning of this. They had about a minute's warning of Nadine Dorries going around 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock. There was no notice about Johnson resigning, and that will rankle because it's thrown the party into more chaos. The one thing it does do, though, is remind everyone of the chaos of last year, of Johnson's difficulties as Prime Minister, controlling his own backbenchers, controlling his own party and his own staff and their behaviour. It allows Rishi Sunak to paint himself correctly as a calming influence, and that will only do, I think, support him in the short term. But whether that's enough to win the red wall seats, the key seats he's got to win back or to hold on to win the next election, is yet to be decided.